Hey, it's Brock here from Rock Hill Farms. Today, we're gonna cut down some trees, get them cut up into manageable logs, and then haul the logs off and sell them to a local mill. So I actually had other plans for what I was going to do today, but I was talking to my friend Paul last night, and he said they're still having a hard time getting their regular shipments of logs delivered to the mill. And I'm not a logger, so I can't cut enough to keep his mill running, or I'm not going to try to, but I can take down a couple trees and bring them just a little bit to help keep them busy. So should be a fun day. First thing I need to do is make sure I've got gas and oil in the chainsaw, make sure I've got a sharp chain, get all my gear, then we'll go pick out a couple trees. Should be fun. All right, I think I've got my two trees picked out. We're going this one here and that one right there. These are both healthy trees. I don't know, 30-inch diameter, something like that. They both might have just a slight lean this way, but not much. So obviously we're gonna take them that way, but instead of the bore cut I use most of the time, this will be a straight back cut and probably use some wedges. Because I was out here to harvest saw logs, this result is really disappointing. And I knew it before it hit the ground. So, if you look at my hinge here, on this side I cut the hinge down to about 4 inches. And then on the other side, I was gonna cut it down to about 2.5 to 3 inches. And then come back around here and take it down to 3 inches. And then I thought I would probably be hitting my wedges a little bit more. But it didn't go that way because the center of this is soft and there's a hole in it. So this right here, I can push my thumb into this and pull out the fiber of the tree. And if you look at the hole in the tree, it gets wider at the bottom and it's getting narrower as it comes up the stump. And then about 2 or 3 inches in here, the hole stops. But the wood is still really soft. So I don't know how far up this goes. It could be 2 feet in, we turn back into solid wood, or half of this tree might be bad. And the reason I think this is really relevant, besides, I mean, I can make firewood out of most of this no matter what, and the saw logs aren't worth much more than the firewood, so it's not a big deal to me. But this conversation makes this really interesting to me because this tree is not dead. If I had not cut this down, it would have still put off leaves and looked just fine. But it's dying from the ground up and rotting. If I'd cut this down a few years ago, all of this would have been solid wood that could be turned into lumber and be used. Now today, most of the end of this is not usable. So this tree might be 80 or 100 years old. But it's not growing anymore, it's dying, and that means it's past time to take it down. In my opinion, they reach a point in their lifespan where they're a crop and you need to harvest them rather than just letting it die and rot and be worth nothing. So, just is what it is. Let's get this cut up. Hopefully, I was hoping I could get 2 logs out of this. Hopefully I can still get 1. So, I'm gonna limit, cut it up at that end, and then find out where the rot ends on this. Okay, so if we come to right here, we've got So 21 feet would be 252. If we cut it right here, we've got 21 feet. Now they want 10-foot 6-inch logs, so if we cut it here, then go down 10 feet, we'd have 11 foot left and maybe get an 8-foot out of it. So I think I'm gonna cut it here, and then I'll be able to handle it. And I think I'll cut it here, and then I'll start cutting 16-inch rounds off the end and see how far we have to go before it's solid. We have 90% of the limbs off of this now, and I could cut it right where it's at. But basically this whole thing, and this is still really heavy, the whole thing is suspended on one little kickstand of a limb right there. And I'm not crazy about that because I can understand the forces up here, but at some point that whole thing could roll over. So I've already got the skid loader over down here to carry the logs. I'm thinking I'm gonna see if I can just roll this over and take all those forces out of play. Now I think this cut is just less complicated. And we've got a spot right here that's a foot off the ground, and it's on the ground on both ends. So when you think about it, both ends are pushing up or pushing down on the ground, then the middle is trying to come down as I cut it. It means compression wood is on the top and tension on the bottom. Always cut the compression first. So I'll make my cut on the top, halfway through, and come up from the bottom to finish it. So I'll make my cut on the top, halfway through, and come up from the bottom to finish it. I stood right here and told you how I should cut it, and then I did it wrong. I had to take 3 firewood rounds off of that, so 48 inches, 4 feet we lost off that. Let's see what we have left. 200 inches. So they only want to buy logs that are either 10-foot 6 or 8-foot 6, and I can't get one of each. I can't even quite get 2 of the 8-footers, and they prefer to have the 10-foot. So I'm gonna cut the best 11 feet off this, 10 feet 6, whatever it is, and only get 1 log out of this. Then we'll take down the other tree. But first we need to get this one cut and loaded. The last time I hauled logs on this trailer, I did not show myself strapping them down, and you could see me drive off. So someone was worried that I was driving with those just sitting there. And just so you know, just because I don't put straps on it in the footage, I always strap my load down before I travel. Still having trouble getting logs, huh?
Yeah, I'm supposed to have a couple semis come in, but they haven't came yet.
That's what your dad said. They keep saying they're going to bring them, and then they don't.
Some of them's been a week, and some of them's been 3 or 4 weeks coming. So
those are for sale if you want them.
Yeah.
But I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the price. And get this on camera.
Yeah.
So I've been thinking about your stick. I got this feeling you've got 2 sticks, and one's for buying and one's for selling.
Yeah, that would be nice, but no.
Yeah, one more thing I want to negotiate is you said 40 cents a board foot. I'll take that price if you can tell a pig joke like your dad.
Pig joke.
But without the pig joke, I want a little more.
Well, if you get enough video of me, you'll figure out that Dad has all the jokes, so you might get a better price.
I'll give you the rest of the day to think of a pig joke. The last time I brought logs here, I showed you guys the stick of truth. It determines how much you get paid I have the feeling I'm probably going to be taking like a Caribbean vacation after he measures these. These aren't like those last puny ones. These are the good logs.
That one would be a 144.
Okay.
141 board.
So that one, based on putting the stick across the narrow end, is 141 board foot. Here, show them how you're looking at that. You're just stabbing something into it to see how soft it is, right?
Oh yeah. Usually, and you can tell pretty easy.
I mean, I can see it looking at it, but
yeah,
that's kind of, I think your dad said if it'll go in an inch, then it's not usable at all.
yeah. So the hard stuff, the stuff that you can tell is good, it just barely sticks in. But that's in, I don't know, maybe a ½ inch, a little bit worse there.
Yeah, that's pretty bad right there.
And right there, and you can tell it visibly.
Now, since the bottom end of it's good, you're probably going to lose a foot, or
Yeah.
it's hard to say, but
Yeah, and depending on what I'm cutting at the time, I might cut that one back to 8 foot rather than 10, but we usually buy them at what they come in at, so that one could scale 181, but because of the bad spot and how big it is, I would probably knock it back to 122, and that's a little bit, you don't know, it just kind of comes with experience of seeing what it could be.
okay, so this, instead of 180 board foot, is worth 120 board foot at 10 foot, because the last 2 foot is, we don't know how much, but the end of it is too soft to use. And when someone brings you logs, you have to agree on a price before you can cut into that, so you have to figure something out, and that's why you kind of have an idea of how much you just subtract for it.
Yeah, and that really comes just with experience of seeing that so often. I've seen it where that could ruin most of the log, could come in here and be a big void, and then I've seen it where it could go in 3 inches and not ruin anything, and you never know.
So off these 2 logs here, we've got 140 and 141 and 122,
yep.
so 263,
Yep.
and then we've got a 3rd log here. Okay, so he's got an 8-foot stick that, after measuring and subtracting for a few bad spots, we have 2 logs that are each 85 board feet. So that's 170 and 263, 433, and times 0.4.
173.20.
All in a day's work.
Yeah.
You know, if I had, I think a feller could make a living out of cutting these trees down and bringing them to you if he had enough of the trees.
Yeah, just enough of them.
That's the thing. I could, even if I was really serious about doing this, I'd run out of trees in 6 months.
Yeah.
Out of usable trees. So, all right, made a little bit of money today. I'll be laughing all the way to the bank. Hey, I appreciate you guys taking time to watch this video. I'll put links on the screen to more of our videos, and I'll see you next time.